Hey, welcome to BingeBar. Typically when you watch an MLS video by us, you have a different guy speaking. But before we start the video, I just wanted to say he was late to the office. So now this MLS video is done by this guy. Anyway, today we decided to pick the greatest MLS player from each team. The ranking was based on the player's overall contribution to the team that they played on. So don't be expecting a Zlatan or a Chicharito to make the list. Also, one more thing to add, we're only choosing players based off their MLS career, not USL or not the NASL careers that they had. Oof. Now that that's out of the way, let's begin. The first team up is Atlanta United FC, and you can argue that their best player of all time could go to two individuals, being Josef Martinez and Miguel Almiron. But for our list, we saw a clear winner and slotted Josef Martinez into the top spot. This was for a couple of reasons. The first being he is by far the best goal scorer on the team with a whopping 90 goals in all competitions since 2017. He was the MLS Golden Boot winner in 2018 as well as the MLS MVP. He was solely responsible for Atlanta's MLS Cup run and win in 2018, notably scoring in the final and being named MLS Cup MVP. There is no doubt in my mind that Josef Martinez is going to be a pivotal part of Atlanta's offense for years to come and will most likely destroy the all-time MLS goal-scoring record. Next up, Chicago Fire. The Fire's best player of all time has to go to Petr Nowak. Petr Nowak had played 4 years with the Chicago Fire from 1998 to 2002 and was named Chicago's first club captain. In those 4 years, Chicago has seen its greatest success. He led the team in 1998 to the league's first double, being the MLS Cup and US Open Cup. He was named the Fire's best player 3 times, matching his number of selections to the MLS Best 11. On top of all that, he tallied up 48 assists in his career, being the most out of any Chicago Fire player ever. FC Cincinnati is the next team on this list. Not too many players to choose from here because they just joined the league in 2019. But I would say Kendall Waston is the most obvious choice. In a season where the team was abysmal to say the least, Kendall really stood out as the best. His leadership and experience was on full display as he tried, though unsuccessfully, to uplift the players around him. He's the first ever MLS captain of Cincinnati and was by far the best defender on the team during the 2019 season. And hey, speaking of defenders, we got Marcelo Balboa of the Colorado Rapids. He played with the Rapids from 1996 to 2001, and in this time period, netted 24 goals. Hold up, let me repeat that for you. 24 goals as a defender. That's almost unheard of in that amount of time. One of those being a bicycle kick that still goes down as my favorite goal, and one of the best goals in MLS history. Amongst his incredible goal tally, he also is a 3-time Rapids MVP. In addition to his illustrious MLS career, he also anchored the U.S. men's national team defense in the 1990 and 1994 World Cups and was the first United States player to break the 100 cap barrier. Pablo Mastroeni was a close second for this one, but Balboa's hair was the tiebreaker. The Columbus Crew. This one's a no-brainer. It has to go to Guillermo Barros Xolito. This man was an absolute baller back in the day. No pun intended. Before coming in Major League Soccer, he played for Boca Juniors in 300 games, netting in 86 goals, which is impressive in itself. When he made the move to Columbus in 2007, the Crew's history would be changed forever. In 2008, Xolito led his team to their first ever MLS Cup, beating the Red Bulls 3-1. Xolito racked up a hat trick of assists in the final, earning himself an MLS Cup MVP, as well as Major League Soccer MVP for the 2008 season. Currently, Xolito manages the LA Galaxy and hopes to once again lead his team to an MLS Cup. Next up is FC Dallas. Jason Kreis clearly takes the cake as Dallas' greatest player of all time. Jason Kreis played with the club from 1999 to 2004. Surprisingly, Kreis was drafted a staggering 43rd overall in the MLS inaugural draft, but as we all know, ended up being one of the best. He scored the first goal in Dallas history and was the first American-born player to be named league MVP after he led the league in points and goals. On top of all this, Jason Kreis was a 5-time All-Star and led his team in goals for 5 seasons and points in 4 seasons. He still remains Dallas's all-time leader in goals being 91, assists being 65, and points. DC United, as we all know, this team has a lot of history and was a powerhouse in the early days of the MLS. Being a powerhouse, DC United had incredible players, but one player stood out from the rest though, which was Jaime Moreno. And Moreno helped lead DC United to just about all the silverware that they have won, which was a lot. Moreno had 2 stints with DC United and both are equally successful. His first stint was between 1996 and 2002. In 1997, he led the league in goals with 16 and was named MLS Best 11, and in 1999 would also be named MLS Best 11. But 1998 would be his best season though, as he scored 16 goals and 11 assists. This season, he would be runner-up for the MLS MVP award, only losing out to fellow teammate Marco Echeverri. During the stint, he led his team to 3 MLS Cups. His second stint was between 2004 and 2010. During this time, he led his team to yet another MLS Cup. He's the 4th all-time league scorer with 133 goals and 6th all-time league assister with 102 assists. Typically, they say don't be a Brad, but in the case of the Houston Dynamo, that's exactly what you want to be. There's 2 top contenders that could easily take the Dynamo's greatest of all time spot, but I side with Brad Davis, but you can easily make an argument for Brian Ching as well. Only problem is, Brad Davis is a dope name. Brad Davis played for the Boys in Orange from 2006 to 2016. Brad Davis played an immense part in both cup runs in 2006 and also in 2007, and he also helped the club raise the trophy twice. He started the most games in Houston history, and he also played the most games in Houston history as well. He also has by far the most assists for the club with an impressive 104, as well as the 3rd most goals with the club being 41. He was such a club legend that the organization let him sign a 1-day contract so he could officially retire as a member of the Houston Dynamo organization. Man, I would love to keep talking about Brad, but LAFC is the next team on this list, and who else could it be other than Carlos Vela? This man has been on a tear since joining the league in 2018. And in 2018, he scored 14 goals and 13 assists, which on all accounts is very impressive. But in 2019, these numbers would look like peanuts compared to what he was able to accumulate. In the 2019 season, Vela would go on to score 34 goals, averaging more than 1 goal per game. What? Yeah. This would be more than enough to break the all-time season goal-scoring record. He also tallied 15 assists that season. Combined goals and assists, he would also break the all-time points record with 49 and would be named MLS MVP of the year. Whew. LA Galaxy. Many people would say David Beckham, but no, man, it has to go to Landon Donovan. He looked like Messi playing in this league, and that's just us putting it lightly. Landon had 2 stints with the LA Galaxy, being 2005 to 2014 and 2016 as well. During his first and much more prominent stint, he won 3 MLS Cups for the team and won the MLS MVP award in 2009. He's the all-time leader in assists with 136 and also boasts an imposing 141 goals for this club. He was the Galaxy's best player of the year in 2006, 2008, 2009, and 2011, and was the Golden Boot winner in 2005 to 2009 and also 2011. The man has done it all with the Galaxy. For Christ's sake, they renamed the MLS MVP award to the Landon Donovan MVP award. If that doesn't convince you that this man is the greatest LA Galaxy player of all time, then nothing will. Next up, we got the new kids on the block, Inter Miami CF. They only played 2 games so far this season, so obviously there is no legends yet to be made. If I had to choose a potential legend though, it would be the designated player, Rodolfo Pizarro. His price tag speaks for itself, as Inter Miami had to dish out a hefty $12 million to purchase this kid. If this transfer pans out the way many think it will, he could very well become one of the best MLS players to grace the pitch. Next in line, Minnesota United. There's 2 frontrunners that could so far go down as the best Minnesota United player of all time, being Darwin Quintero and Nike Parra. Darwin has the most goals and assists for the club, being 27 and 22. I'm going to have to give the best of all time status to Ike Opara, though, just because he's still with the team and can further his Minnesota United legacy. Ike Opara's season in 2019 with Minnesota United was nothing short of magical. He made Minnesota go from one of the worst defenses to one of the best, just like that. He was so good that he was awarded the MLS Defender of the Year, and I can definitely see him earn this achievement again. The Montreal Impact. I feel like everyone can come to terms that Ignacio Piatti is easily the best player in Montreal's club history. The man, the myth, the legend, tops every single chart. He is the top ever goal scorer on the team with 66 goals, which is outrageous for a winger. He also has the most ever assists on the Montreal Impact, being 35. During his time in Montreal, 2014 to 2019, he was a fan favorite and one of the best playmakers in the league. He was unfortunately oftentimes forgot about though, but in my eyes is the most underrated player to have ever seen the MLS. A real travesty. Similar to Inter Miami, Nashville has only played 2 games in the MLS at this time of this recording. 2 possible legends of the club could be Walker Zimmerman or Dax McCarty, but I'm going to have to give the edge to Zimmerman though, because he is 6 years younger than Dax. I could definitely see Zimmerman having a huge presence on the back line for years to come in Nashville. If he can keep up his tremendous run of form like he did in LA, there's no question in my mind that he's going to go down in the Nashville history books. Next up, you have the New England Revolution, and in my book, Taylor Twellman is the best to have ever played for that club. Even though Twelly's career was cut short due to lingering symptoms caused by a concussion, he still made a huge impact on the league. Twellman played for the Revolution from 2002 to 2009. In his first season, he scored 23 goals, which would be enough to earn him the MLS Scoring Championship award. In 2005, Twellman won both the MLS Golden Boot and MLS League MVP award. He is also still the top ever goal scorer for the team with 101 goals. Unfortunately, one award that Taylor never won was the MLS Cup, as he went to the finals 4 times and came up short all 4 times. No revolution was made for Twelly. New York City FC, NYCFC, has a clear-cut greatest player of all time, and his name is David Morales. JK, it's David Villa. This legend of the game absolutely carried NYCFC on his back for multiple seasons. David was NYCFC's first ever captain in 2015 and would remain their captain until the 2018 season. He's the club's all-time leading goal scorer with 80 goals in all competitions. In 2016, he scored 23 goals and racked up 4 assists, which would be enough to earn him the MLS League MVP of the year. David will forever be immortalized in New York City and was the leader that made NYCFC into the dominant force that they are today, unless we're talking about the playoffs. The New Jersey Red Bulls / Metro Stars greatest player of all time has got to be Bradley Wright Phillips. The dude was a machine for the boys in red from 2013 to 2019. Many thought when Thierry Henry came to the team, he would take all of the spotlight, and he did. But Bradley Wright Phillips should have had it all. During his time at the Red Bulls, he amassed 126 goals in all competitions, which is by far the most goals scored by an individual for the club. He also set the record for the fastest time to hit 100 regular season goals, only needing, wait for it, 159 games to do so. In addition, he won the MLS Golden Boot twice in 2014 and 2016. BWP is the epitome of consistency. Alright, let's be real here. Orlando City doesn't have too many greats, but if I was forced to pick one, I would probably choose Ricardo Kaká. Kaká was Orlando's first ever captain in 2015 and would remain captain in 2017 when he decided to retire. Kaká is the second top goal scorer for the club with 25 goals and the leading assister with 22 assists. In all honesty, there's really nothing special with these stats. It's just that everyone who's played on Orlando has been way worse, and y'all face it, Kaká is the GOAT. The Philadelphia Union haven't seen too many greats in their years, but one is definitely a great in his own right, Sebastian Leitão. Sebastian Leitão would have 2 very successful stints with the Philadelphia Union. In his first stint with the Union, 2010 to 2011, Leitão scored a hat-trick in his first ever game with the Union. During the stint, he tallied up 25 goals. In his second stint, he again scored an impressive 25 goals. He's the Union's all-time leading goal scorer with 57 goals in all comps, and also all-time assist leader with 50 assists. No one has ever come close to both of these numbers on the Union. But moving on, Portland Timbers, the greatest player is for sure Diego Valeri. They don't call this man El Maestro for no reason. The Argentina playmaker is magical on the ball. Diego Valeri is the team's leading goal scorer with 76 goals and leads the team in assists with an extraordinary 81. Valeri was an instrumental part to Portland's Cup run and win in 2015. He scored the fastest goal in MLS Cup history, being 27 seconds, and was named MLS Cup MVP. No shocker there. He was also named 2017 MLS League MVP as he tallied up the most points for that season, rallying up 21 goals and 11 assists. This man's name will definitely be hoisted up into the rafters one day. Real Salt Lake. Their greatest player of all time is a goalkeeper and the only one on the list. Crazy. Nick Rimando. The man has Real Salt Lake tattooed into his blood. Rimando had played for the club for a mind-blowing 13 seasons from 2007 to 2019. During this time, he accumulated nearly every goalkeeping record the league has to offer. Some notable records being most shutouts with 129 and goalkeeping wins with 183. He also was two-time runner-up for MLS Goalkeeper of the Year in 2013 and 2014. Amongst these achievements, he carried his team to an MLS Cup in 2009. Rimando was named MLS Cup MVP for making several saves in a shootout. Hey, it's the San Jose Earthquakes, and their greatest player in the club's history has got to be Chris Wondolowski. A true underdog story, you could say. Early on in his career, he played the most of his games for the reserve team of San Jose and the Houston Dynamo. It wasn't until he was traded to San Jose in 2009 that he really started to shine. In 2010, Chris was awarded the Golden Boot for scoring the most goals that season with 18. In 2012, he was again awarded the Golden Boot with 27 goals, the most seen up until that time. He was also awarded MLS MVP that season as well. Amongst all of these achievements, the most grand is his overall goal tally being 159, the most goals ever scored in Major League Soccer history. Defending MLS Cup champion Seattle Sounders are next on our list, and many great players have worn and put on the Rave Green uniform, but none as great as Clint Dempsey. Clint played for the Sounders from 2013 to 2018. Dempsey is the second all-time goal scorer for the club with 57 goals and has enumerated the fourth most assists for the club with 29. In 2017, he was named MLS Comeback Player of the Year after overcoming an irregular heartbeat. Other than his impressive club career, he bolsters an even more impressive national team career. He's tied with Landon Donovan, the GOAT, for the most goals in U.S. men's national team history with 57. In the coming years, though, I can definitely see Nicholas Ladero challenging for the title as best Sounders player of all time, man! Coming to the end now, Sporting Kansas City. One clear choice here. We all know it. We all love it. Preki. Preki played every season with the Kansas City Wizards from 1996 to 2005, except for one, being the 2001 season with the Miami Fusion. Preki is one of the best players to have ever stepped foot into our league. He's the only player to have won the MLS MVP award twice, once in 1997 and a second time in 2003. During these 2 years, he also was the MLS scoring champion. With that being said, he is also the Wizards' all-time leader in goals and assists. On top of all this, in 2000, he helped this team win their first ever Major League Soccer Cup. Toronto. Only one man deserves to be at the top, and that is Sebastian Giovinco. Sebastian Giovinco played on Toronto FC from 2015 to 2018 and left a legacy like no other on this list. During his inaugural season, he netted 22 goals and 16 assists, enough to earn him MLS MVP of the season, and was the highest point tally in the season up until Carlos Vela broke the record 4 years later, absolutely crushing Giovinco's heart. In 2016, he led his team to an MLS Cup final unfortunately losing to the Seattle Sounders. A year later, though, he would have his redemption, as not only did Toronto beat the Sounders for the MLS Cup, but they also won the first domestic treble in MLS history. In 2018, he led his team to CONCACAF Champions League final, but unfortunately lost to Chivas on penalties. Giovinco did win the Golden Ball, though, as the best player in that tournament. Finally, we're here, guys. And now on the last team on this list, we have the Vancouver Whitecaps. The Whitecaps have two players that could very well be considered the greatest, being Pedro Morales and Camillo. After much thought, we finally decided to go with Pedro as the greatest Whitecaps player of all time. Morales played for the Vancouver Whitecaps from 2014 to 2016, and each season was quality. In 2014 to 2016, he scored the most goals on the team with 10 and 9. He's the second all-time top goal scorer on the team, only behind Camillo. He does have the all-time most assists, though, with 26. Well, we hope you really enjoyed this video, as it took a very long time for us to put together and finally get this shipped out. So please like and subscribe for more MLS and NHL content. This was my first video doing MLS because, like I said, my co-host was late. But again, please tell me I did a good job. And if you like this video, please comment to see more. Thank you. We'll see you next time.